recording. We'll be mainly off screen for this one because, well, yeah.
Will you talk too?
Oh,
Just asking. I do.
Alright, so welcome back to Gamble This. This is episode 4, but it will probably come up before episode 3 because I hate my computer. Alright, guest intros. Start.
Kevin Black. I'm the one that started the Gambler 500 New York. Based on a video that I saw on the internet and Tate Morgan's original Gambler, and I thought it was just a cool thing, and I signed up for West Virginia, and it fell through, and I signed up for Pennsylvania, and it fell through, and I was like, dude, I'm just going to put my own on, make it happen.
That's awesome. So you're the reason this exists?
The one that started it, but I mean, like, people really picked up the reins, like Tyler with the Adirondack run, and I mean, like, it's really not about me. I mean, like, basically I just say, like, here's some waypoints and let's go do it. Yeah.
I'm Jake Leach. I drive the Jeep Elope. The Jeep Elope and I have been to all 5 Gamblers so far. Haven't finished all 5 Gamblers, but I've been to all 5 of them. We'll see if we can't maybe do 6. I don't know. The future for the Jeep is kind of bleak, but I'm sure somebody will help drag it out of the woods if it breaks in 2.
Oh, if it breaks in 2, you got a couple of different people to help. Each one drag it in half.
I bet you still be 2 running pieces.
She ain't gonna break. Never. I'm Jason Swim. I'm also Team Jeep Elope. I'm Jake's Navigator. And, yeah, I navigate and just along for the ride pretty much. Have some fun.
He also ran that Subaru in the second Gambler.
Suicidal Subaru.
And Matt Leach, got into it because my brother watched him via Facebook the first time, and I think he may have told me, but I didn't listen until after the fact, and I just watched. And so I've been to everyone afterwards. Run the Cobb, Coupe, whatever you want to call it.
That's a pretty cool car.
Yeah.
So how did you guys find out about the Gambler?
I watched the video, the video, the one that got like 1 million plus hits. I'm trying to think of who did it, but it was like, you know, they had the sunken Beetle in it, and they had the guys in the Cadillac, which I helped push the Cadillac. That Cadillac.
That's awesome.
Yes, because it stalled out right in Sisters, Oregon, right in the middle of the street, and I was like, here's my opportunity to push the Cadillac. And he's like, it does this every year up here because the altitude and the carburetor messes up. Yep. That's where I saw it, and I was like, West Virginia. That's down near my parents' house, so I'd like, that'd be cool to run a West Virginia rally, but I don't know, nothing ever came of it.
That's so fun.
I also saw that same video, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of Google, which led me to find Kevin's Facebook that he had just started. I had to been, heck, one of the first 2 dozen in. I mean, it was real early. None of us knew what we were doing, but we were game for it anyways. And, yeah, the rest is history. Here we are.
I learned about it from Jake, so I was like, that sounds like fun. I'm in.
Yeah. I think you had told me about the builds you were doing with the Deslota, and then rebuilding the Jeep Elope. You know, it's just like, yeah, whatever you're up to. Sounds cool, but I don't know if I got time for that at this time. And then I started seeing the Facebook videos come in of everyone having all the good times. I was like, oh, I'm not missing out on another one. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the first one, and I'm still kicking myself in the ass for it.
You didn't miss much, it's alright.
Still, it's the first one, you know, it's like, I can say I've been to every one, but I've been to every one but the first one.
So I've only been to 2. I went to the first Adirondack one, and then Frozen Nuts. I would have gone to the fall Adirondack run, but it was the day after my daughter was born.
Yeah.
think if I had left within the first month or so, I probably wouldn't have been welcome home.
Fall was mayhem, so lots of soldiers went down.
And I've heard about the shenanigans.
Yeah. The Coop's still down. We don't know. We don't know what's going on with that. But never say never.
A lot of water. What was it?
Yeah,
That's the one I missed.
A lot of water. So about 45 minutes sitting in about 2 feet of water. It was right after the Jeep blow up had just left. Jake had been my rhyme and reason not to full throttle through stuff, and I didn't have him there. And I was like, I can do this. Hammered in. Got the front bumper ripped off. It was still running. The alarm was going off at that point. And then got pulled back out of it. She got her started back up again. She wouldn't start from the key, but we pop started it. And Jay Aubrey was like, you can do it. And I looked him in the eyes and I was like, I can do it. And then I got back in it and boom, hammered down into the hole again and made it half the distance I made it the first time. But it was still fun doing it. And then the sidekick came up behind and just hammered me up, pushed me out of it. And she hasn't ran since. But the sidekick did push us out of like a mile and a half out of the road, or up out of the trail and to the road. And then we left her there for the night. Well, later in the night, came back, towed her back to a buddy's camp, went home with the camper, came back and got her the next day. And now she sits, waiting to get repaired, hopefully.
I think that's the same sidekick that pulled me up the hill.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he does a good recovery job.
Yeah. I'd say.
Yeah.
Sidekicks are nice little vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah. He earned it during the frozen nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got hung up on frozen nuts going up like a long hill in the snow. Right, like the truck in front of me went off and kind of gunned it around. Of course, he had 4-wheel drive, and here I come with 2-wheel drive, like trying to stay on it. No, I gotta slow down. Jeez, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like as soon as it sinks in. So the next time I took a run at it, I was, I don't know, 55, bouncing down through there and trying to pull this hill. Like, made it around that corner. I did make the corner. It was
Yeah.
a big root ball there. Over that, and then it was like slowing, and it just stuck on the side of the road. It's like, well, that's as far as we're going.
Yeah.
But he came back down.
No, I made a pretty good run. We were surprised. We were like, here comes Kevin. We can hear him.
Yeah. And it was like the point to just stop. Like, there is a point where you're not going to go any further and try and do so. And he's like, you're going to try it again? Like my co-pilot. And I'm like, nah, I think that's it, Jason. Yeah. And because you know when you get that good run, you're like, I can't do it any better than that. Like, that was that run. Yeah.
Gotta know when to call it quits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you risk putting it off a hillside trying to back down off that hill again.
Yeah. And that's when I noticed the red stain that was following me, which is still following me.
Yeah.
The Dodge thing.
And I cracked the transmission open on that rock.
Yeah.
On coming down the one hill and boom! What the heck was that? Yeah, I think it was a frozen rock sticking up out because it just caught the transmission and cracked the case right open.
You
Wow.
were buggy, and I was right behind you, and I saw you hit a couple of doozy ones. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna slow down. It was nice not being in the lead for a change, because usually I'm taking the head shots.
Yeah, you don't know where anything is under the snow.
And you have the articulating frame system.
It's like a caterpillar.
For the record, after further inspection today, the Jeep has 4 different brakes in the frame. Runs good though.
Yeah.
4-liter?
Yeah.
Can't kill him.
Yeah.
My coworker's Jeep is rotting away around the motor. Still runs like a top.
Well, just before he killed his car, I, going up this one trail, put my upper control arm through the oil pan, which was shortly followed a little later on that trail by a water crossing. Well, you can guess what that did to my motor. Filled it with water in the oil and washed the bearings, and that's why my Jeep got no oil pressure, for everybody who doubts that. has a new oil pan now and new lower bearings on the connecting rods, but it didn't do much.
Like cam bearings went.
I think every bearing in that
Right.
engine's gone. The only thing I replaced was the lower connecting rod bearings when I had the oil pan off because they were there.
Right.
I didn't take the engine apart really.
Yeah. Well, it won't blow a rod. I mean, you're good. You know.
You know, as long as you stay out of it at high RPMs, it's not so bad.
Just put a little Lucas in there.
It's already got diesel oil in it, and a buddy of mine's got a couple cases of airplane oil, which is 2050
Oh yeah,
synthetic.
2050 is great at Dodges. Keeps them from leaking.
Get some of that in there.
So we've got a customer with a newer, I'll say it's like a 13 Ram 4.7. He's only ever run 1540 in it. It's got like 268,000
Yeah.
miles right now. It runs like a top. The box is rotting off already, but it runs great. I was like, maybe if I get a Dodge, I'll have to follow that route.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I run 2050. I mean, in the wintertime it sucks because the starting's like, yeah. But this is in old blue, 2050, because it leaks it so fast. Probably because I don't have any PCV PVC valves. Yeah, so it's not ventilating correctly, and it just blows it all out the valve cover instead.
So Old Blue's probably one of the cooler gamblers I've seen up there.
Thank you. Yeah.
When we were at the car show and you're like, oh yeah, the rear spoiler's a canopy, I was like, there's no way it's a canopy.
It's
And then-
scary.
Yeah.
That thing's got to come off of there.
Where did that come off of originally?
A van. It was actually for a Dodge van.
Wow.
And it was on one. I bought this
Yeah.
van for like $300, and then the guy's like, it hadn't run in a couple of years, so I went down and picked it up, and he's like, yeah, the kids that are around town are stealing stuff off of it. So they stole the mirrors, the running boards, the wheels, and he's like, it's just got to go. And I'm like, well, okay. So I went down with the neon and patched it back together and had it running in 4 hours. Enough that I pulled my neon home. This was from southern Pennsylvania. But through the spoiler was, or the wing was in the back of it because he didn't want them to steal that too. I'm trying to think of the company's name, but yeah, it's on it. It says like the awning company or whatever. Pretty neat piece
Yeah.
from the 80s, you know.
You don't see cool stuff like that anymore on
No.
cars.
But I broke them out. So they were already cracked to pieces. But like the last gambler, I had to go up to the cabin because the neon was stuck in the driveway, and I got the van
Yeah.
down into the woods
Ooh.
and caught a tree with it. Crunch.
That's no fun.
I took the Jeep Lope out the other day just because I was surprised it still starts, so why not go beat on it some more? And I ripped the air horn off the hood with a downed tree. Oh, I can push through that. Shit.
So if you're in the market for a giant wing, look me up.
That's tempting. That's the only thing about having a flatbed. I don't really have anywhere to put it.
Make it look like a Daytona.
If
like
there's a
with
will,
vents.
there's a way.
Yeah.
That was my whole thing with the Cobb. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, sit there and think about it for a minute. Need a giant wing on the back made out of street signs? We can do that. Yeah.
I saw one where they cut a keg in half and they welded it together and made that the wing. I was
Nice.
like, that's creative.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it adds a ton of downforce, but it looks good.
Yeah. Was it functional? Could you still like draw out of it?
It was on a Lemons car, so
Okay,
I'm
well,
not sure if it was too
yeah.
functional. So, how many different vehicles have you run in the Gambler?
Take it away.
Jeep Lope. I've built a few other ones. I built the Deslota, which by the end of it became known as Two Dicks and a Dodge. I also built the Subaru that he ran, although he did most of the paint job.
That's fun.
Yeah, the Jeep Lope has been a continuing evolution of bad ideas.
Still has a roof. I mean,
It
Yeah.
does.
yeah.
It pops and twists and sounds like a drum when you're going over stuff because it's about the only thing structural that's left.
That's the only reason it still has a
Yeah.
roof. Otherwise, it would have been convertible 2 years ago.
It's got the massaging floor system though too.
Yeah. You drive it by braille, you feel it in the floorboards, everything the front wheels are doing.
Wow.
When you come to a stop, the floorboards, as the axle stops and that motion moves through the vehicle, the floorboards do this too.
Oh my god.
Including the brake pedal and the gas pedal, so the whole firewall's doing it too.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's got some flex.
So upgraded suspension.
It's still got a good inspection in it though,
Yeah.
till April. We're solid.
Yeah. He says so.
How about you guys?
That's the only one I've driven was the Suicidal Subaru, which is his car. Other than that, I've been his Navigator every time.
The Cobb. That's the only one I ran. Ran it Adirondack Adventure and Fall Gamblery. Hopefully we can run it again.
Rode back seat in the Jeep Elope on the frozen nuts.
Yeah, I did.
Chip
Backseat.
test.
Yeah. Backseat navigator, photojournalist for a couple of them. Yeah.
Say, Frozen Nuts had a good turnout.
Yeah, it did.
I was surprised. I
by
thought
that.
we had like 5 people there.
Yeah.
Really?
We're all gluttons for punishment.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Say, the week or so leading up to it, I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then they were like, oh, Blizzard Snowmageddon's on its way. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm still going to go. I took the time off. I'm going.
Yeah. No, it was awesome.
How'd day 2 end up going?
There,
Or is it just kind of...
I mean, kinda. Well, Sean Martin had brake issues, so we went to the hotel and tried to help him out. And then we did a little bit of messing around with the Neon was bleeding transmission fluid profusely. So it was like, it was starting to sound like, you know how a front wheel drive car sounds like in reverse?
Yep.
It was starting to do that in all the forward gears. And I was like, yeah, we gotta stop that, you know. Just, you guys can go explore if you want. But by then it was Sean and Jason with, anyway, it was only 3 cars. And I think that was it. And, yeah, so everybody kind of said, okay, that's enough. Enough is enough, yeah. But the problem was, like, because the loop was so far to the east, we would have had to go, like, 100 miles to pick up the loop to start on our way back. Or start reversing the other ones. And, I mean, you know, when you lay these things out, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if Snowmageddon is around the same date. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, we're just going to go have fun. And I did. I had fun. I actually got to run in it, which was better than sitting at home waiting for the fastest guy to get back, you know.
Yeah.
So the question was, how many vehicles? I've run the Neon, the orange Neon, of critical acclaim, and the blue Dodge van, which is a 77, which has more miles on it than you'd believe. Yeah, really.
Say, I've seen some of the stories of you going all over the country with that thing.
It's been in 41 states.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's peered into Canada and Mexico. So it never actually crossed. No, it did cross the border into Canada, and we got kicked out. I had a log with me, with like this much bark on it. And, because it was a carving log. I wasn't even thinking, like, you know, I had a .22 rifle with me, and I was thinking, like, that's going to be the problem, so I better declare it, you know? So I declared that I had a .22, and they sent me down to Border Control, and I was like, you know, what do I do? And they were like, oh, you just fill out this form, pay $25, you can take it with you. I'm like, oh, that's easy, you know? So, okay. I'm filling out the form, and they're like, what's this in the trailer? I'm like, it's like log carvings, you know? I do chainsaw carvings. Like, you can't come in with that. Like, so what do you want to do? Like, go at. You ever try to get back into the United States after getting thrown out of another country? You really want to know why. Yeah.
It was just a log, I swear.
But it
Okay.
wasn't the guns? No, it wasn't the guns!
Yeah. What's in the log? Nothing. It's for carving, I swear.
Right, I had a wooden deer, you know, that I had carved on the trailer.
Yeah.
And she's like looking at the back, and she's like, so you're from North Carolina, but you live in New York, you have rifles and that's a target that you shoot at. I'm like, no, I carved that target with a chainsaw. And she's like, what? I carved that with a chainsaw. Well, why do you have the rifles? Because I live like way back in the sticks. She says, get out of here. I'm like, what? No, I mean, seriously, get out of my booth. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Get out, you're crazy. Okay, go back to Detroit.
I feel like that'd be an interesting gambler going to Detroit.
I don't know, man. It would probably be cool with all the different cars and stuff. Like, I don't know. I kind of mixed emotions about that whole event because it's like, you know, sometimes it seems like there's some real rowdies there
Yeah.
that are kind of making it bad for everybody else. But then probably 95% of the guys that run it are just like our guys, you know, right on and not doing stupid stuff.
I just think going through like all the old car plants and stuff would be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Jumping the old railroad tracks and stuff.
I saw that video. Wow.
Yeah.
Type of jump in Tennessee,
Yeah.
that poor Explorer.
Oh, and then he got.
Yep.
You don't know.
Yeah.
They drove it for the rest of the gambler.
They did.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I was reading the comments. Yeah,
It was an impressive jump.
it really
I
was.
saw the little dip and I was like, I can't get that much air off of that.
It was the landing.
It's probably the same thing they thought too.
Yeah.
How high can it possibly go? You've seen the Grant Nelson jump? The S10 pickup truck,
Yes.
the green one?
Yep.
That does like the 96-foot jump. I followed that truck for 5,000 miles, 3,000 miles, something like that. From Nebraska all the way to the OG and back out. Well, we were in Montana. Were we in Montana? Maybe Wyoming. Anyway, where we finally split off. But he took that truck on some stuff. Yeah, there was like an old quarry back in there, and we come down the hill. We got lost. This was like after one of the last checkpoints, and we were coming down the mountain. And there's a Ford pickup truck, and the hood's up, and he's like, "Man, I've been back here for an hour. Nobody's been through." And it wouldn't start. And we got to looking at it. It was something stupid. And then it started a relay or something like that. Wire had come loose. Anyway, he got it started, and then of course he wants to. Now that there's other people there, you know, I want to go up the quarry. So he takes that truck. It's like a jacked up Ford, old like '78, and I mean it's like loose, big boulder rocks, you know. Rah, 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 rah. Now the guy's gonna try it with Grant's gonna try it with the S10, 2-wheel drive. You know, he did all right, but like there was a point where it's just like, no. I decided not to try it in any. Had to drive it home.
Yeah, that'd be my only fear about going out west is breaking down out there.
Well, my plan was if I did break down and it was a bad breakdown, I was just gonna buy another car. Just jump that one.
Work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. How hard is it to find a $500 car?
Evidently not hard.
We gotta just become like a used car sales group.
Until they see what the car's gone through.
You're right.
So out of all the gamblers you've seen, which one's your favorite gambler car or truck?
How can you answer that?
Besides the Jeep.
Well, you get to pick one.
I don't know. I think the Social Justice Patrol, the first one, was pretty badass. The lifted Nissan was another
There was a neat one.
hilariously bad car.
I was a big fan of the ambulance. Really bad.
Wambulance. Which one was that? The orange one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Orange to white stripe. I think they had it at Frozen Nuts, but they weren't running it. They were just kind of using it as a home base.
Yeah, and I think that's actually his second one. He had like the maxi van version first, and then he had the shorter one.
Red, white, and screwed's always been kind of a classic. Maybe
Was that
War
the-
Pig.
Was that the Focus that ripped the oil filter out?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I remember seeing the video of
Yeah.
that.
Simple but elegant. hacksaw ability, War Pig. That one's, nothing clean about it, but it came out pretty good.
I was surprised when they said that got through the Death Trek Day 2
Yeah.
on the spring run.
Yeah, no.
Because the bus was there, nobody else was around, and they're like, yeah, the War Pig got all the way through, they're coming back around now, and it's like, okay, I should be able to get through that. That was probably one of the most fun checkpoints,
Yes.
because there's just all sorts of vehicles attempting 3 different ways to get through.
Yeah. It was like carnage throughout the woods, no matter which way you looked. There was someone in trouble. Yeah. And then people randomly walking around, videotaping and helping and pulling and ratcheting and, winching and,
Pulling a car by hand.
yeah.
Hey, it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. And then I ended up dragging him up that hill.
See, I was bright enough not to go down in there. Like, again, I gotta drive this thing home.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I had the 77. As it was, we wound up on some other weird points. Like, places we weren't supposed to go because the GPS just plain lied.
Oh, yeah. That was like the first checkpoint day 1. Or one of the first checkpoints.
Oh, yeah, that too.
You guys turned around. We meandered around some random guy's property for like an hour and a half. Felt really bad about it. And ended up coming out like 100 yards around a corner from where we started.
Yeah.
I was like,
at that split.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, I don't think we were supposed to be down in there.
What I'd like to see is that Upper Peninsula Gambler. So I went up there on Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Yeah.
There's some wicked cool roads up there.
I feel like they're trying to organize one for up there.
That would be awesome.
Cause I want to say Ashley was talking about it last week. And it definitely would be a good spot for it.
Yeah. Look at ATV roads, where if you have your ATV permit, you can take your whatever vehicle you have that's considered an ATV on that road. And it's not even much, like $10 or something through the state. I didn't have one, but the sign was kind of vague, so I tried it anyway. And because that guy was just like, no, nobody ever patrols it. Just go ahead and do it. Nobody's gonna mess with you. And I had me with it, and then a Blazer with me, and my buddy Al, and yeah, we just rolled through. It was some cool roads, and they actually go somewhere. I hate roads that are just like dead ends, and you go back in there, and it's like, well, that was cool. Let's go see it again,
Yeah.
But they actually come out on some main road, 20 miles away.
Wow.
Yep.
What gamblers are on your guys' bucket lists? I was like, you've already done the OG. That's the one that's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to do so many of them, really. Like the California ones even look cool. Like the Southern California, some of those guys are pretty cool guys. But, I don't know, wouldn't it be cool to just take off for a year and just do all of them?
Yeah. That'd be pretty sweet.
How you thinking about doing the Iceland one? Matthew Wands, you're still into it?
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you're like $1,500 a person, so fly in, get a car, stay pretty much out in the, it's a 3-day one too. You're there a week ahead of time. They have a ground crew there that'll buy the car for you. They're gonna have a community workshop so you can work on it the week ahead of time, and then everyone's gonna go out into the freaking Badlands. So it'll be sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Iceland.
Yeah, gotta do it. It's July 13th through 15th, I think.
That's during the thaw.
Yeah.
The only thaw that they
Yeah.
get. The week long. Yeah.
So they're like controlled roads that you go on. They're like F and C or something rated, but it's all like the glacial till and a lot of water crossings. So
Cool.
it should be a good time. Yeah.
I feel like that'd be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Just gambling in a different
I
country.
think a lot of the OG people are coming in and flying in to do it. So,
Right on.
yeah.
So, if you're gonna fly WoW Air, don't buy Pepsi or coffee. See, what you do is you buy it at the airport and then you bring it on,
Yeah.
because they already checked your stuff. And then once you get on the airplane, it's like $12 for a bottle of Pepsi on
Wow.
the airplane. So don't buy their Pepsi.
Yeah, no.
It's a great flight otherwise,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Not worth the $12 vest.
Yeah.
Fly me all day long, but keep your $5 or $12 vest.
And then when you land in Iceland, they've actually got a grocery store right in the airport, like a little mini. It's actually, and the prices are really reasonable.
Really sweet.
Yeah, just bring some small bills because otherwise, like, then you have to spend a 20 in American because they give you change in Icelandic. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And their coins all have fish on them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
They're pretty cool looking coins.
Yeah. If you can get knock two off in one stone, you get Iceland experience and gambling all in one. So why not?
They like bands there too.
Nice.
Like I've seen some really big, jacked up.
Yes. Yeah, they have
Like, earth crawlers. Yeah.
the ice crawlers. That's
Yeah.
what they call them. Yeah. No, they got some interesting vehicles there. A mix of like some American stuff and then like the European, Russian, like Czech stuff in there. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so should be a interesting blend. Someone had a Chrysler LHS that we're getting ready to gamble with. I was like, oh, I haven't seen one of them bad boys, and since 1999.
Yeah, right.
We have one customer that still brings in an LHS.
Yeah.
And the pinch welds are still holding miraculously.
Nice.
Is this like the Concorde platform?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a larger
The
Concorde.
first,
I
cab
mean,
forward
Intrepids are
design.
getting pretty rare too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen one for years.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
such pieces of
Yeah.
So it's not a gambler, but it's a gambler. There's a thing in Israel called Gruta Rally. Gruta Rally. That's basically the same idea. I mean, it's a little more. They've got a little more rules. I mean, it might be like Le Mans mixed with gambler, but that's one that I'd like to do. Kind of like take a gambler car and like have it shipped over and run it and something.
Yeah.
Just something. And there aren't neons in Israel, so how cool would it be to have a neon in? Well, okay, we did find two, but they were extremely overpriced because it's actually not. It's a Chrysler 200. I don't even know what the designation was, but very high end over there, leather everything. And
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we look at the higher trim package neons here, and it's like,
it's still a neon.
It's an SRT4. That's the only. That's the major designation from the neon and not.
Yeah. Well, mine's the SRT design.
Yeah.
Which is why I got it for so cheap because it looks like an SRT4.
Yeah.
And people, when they were selling it, would people come out thinking that they were getting an SRT4 for a really reasonable price and
Yeah.
pop the hood and go, where the
Well,
hell's the turbo at?
yeah. This is the one without the turbo. It has
Yep.
everything else that looks like the turbo. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's 1 year only they did those.
Really?
And like people, yeah. I think it was to use up parts personally.
Yeah.
They had SRT4 parts that didn't cool correctly, like the whole nose piece, so they said, let's just do a trim package and get rid of this stuff instead of throwing it in the trash can.
Yeah. Got plenty of extra
smart
mufflers.
idea.
Yeah.
Well, this is Dodge. I mean, this is the stuff they do.
Yeah.
We'll paint it in any color you want, including Chevrolet colors or GM colors.
Yeah.
That was the thing in the 70s. They painted any color you wanted.
70s definitely had some cooler vehicles.
Didn't they though?
Yeah.
We came from a Dodge family.
Yeah.
Father working at New Process Gear,
Yeah.
always buying Caravans and Dodge Rams and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a Durango at one point.
One of the few companies I've never owned a vehicle by is Chrysler. I've had Hondas, Fords, Mitsubishis, all sorts of random stuff, but I've never owned a Dodge.
Too many to count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Dodges are good.
Dodge Shelby Turbo.
But, yeah.
That was nice.
You had one?
Yeah.
Wow.
That thing was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was in a front end accident, so I got it for $300. Like jimmied the hood down. It was a little off centered, but it worked. The blow off valve didn't work, so it was just blowing boost back into the engine. But
Floating the valves like crazy.
yeah, yeah, burned oil like a son of a bitch. In the end, I took the synthetic oil oil changes from the other car, our daily driver, and I was just pouring in that bitch. I was like, well, I mean, I'm going through a quart a day, and then sucker. I'm like, it's better
Yeah.
than nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some
I'm like
oil's
using the
better
old
than
oil change stuff. We're good.
This is a
Synthetic.
two-stroke at this point.
Yeah. And that bitch fucking seized up coming out of Camillus on Route 5. Coming out of Camillus, seized up at nighttime. I've had rollerblades in the back. I threw my rollerblades on the back. Fucking rollerbladed to my house. Came back the next morning. Fucking hopped in that bitch. Just started right up. Fucking drove it out of there. I was like, alright, we're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah. Durable little sucker.
I had Old Blue way back in the day. I put a hopped up 360 in it. You know, I thought it was the coolest thing on wheels, and just pulled off from a stoplight. The thing, I mean, we got airborne. Boom! Like a explosion went off underneath the van. And it shut the engine off. It rolled to a stop, started back up, and it was making a little noise. Heck. I got it home, popped the hood. The fan had blown apart. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, put another fan on it. Still making a little noise. Drove to work the next day. Worked with a guy, mechanic, and he came out and he says, yeah, he says, maybe a valve. It's definitely ticking a little bit. He says, I wouldn't worry about it. It's not ticking real loud. If it gets worse, then worry about it. I drove it like 3,000 miles. Only one day, oil pressure, just nothing. Okay, no oil pressure, and it started ticking. So I shut it off. I took it home, pulled the engine out. The number 8 rod had blown off. And the whole rod was laying in the oil pan.
Wow.
Right? Split the piston in two. Would hear that little rod piece that's still dancing around on the crank finally touched the sump and pulled the sump up out of the oil. And that's why it lost oil pressure. I think it would still run to this day.
Yeah.
If I just
with
like
no
put it back
rod in it,
together.
yeah.
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 You take the grinder and cut a little rod off. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nuts.
It's crazy that you drove it that long.
It was 3,000 miles that I put on it with running on 7.
I was gonna say, you didn't notice it was running on 7.
It was never running right, so her AFB. The fact that it would start in the morning was always a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Upcoming events. So I know Tennessee was this past weekend.
Oh yeah.
I'll figure out what the next ones are.
That was a second Tennessee run that they did. Right?
I think so. Because it was a redemption run.
Okay.
Yes. that
Wow.
the day he sent that to me, I was like, "That's my new background." He's like,
That is
"No."
awesome.
Yeah.
That is my tree that he's hugging.
He's like, "There's probably still pieces of my taillights in that tree."
Oh yeah, probably.
I was like, so the next one coming up is Texas.
Texas.
I feel like that'd be fun. Not a whole lot down there, but that'd be fun.
Depends on where. Texas is.
Yeah, I mean, you
Very.
can drive 8 hours and still be in Texas.
Yeah.
Could be
You
something.
do some serious hammer down driving though.
Yeah. Just watch out for animals.
Boars.
And then after that, there's two weekends where there's nothing. Then Alabama.
Neat.
I feel like that'd be a fun one.
Interesting.
Wonder what part. I've been through Alabama, but I never really explored their back roads. The people down there are nice.
So how many states actually have their own gambler going now?
It's a good question.
So they can pull the thing really good. So New York, Oregon, Arizona, Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, SoCal, Missouri, Florida. I'm guessing southwestern Arkansas, SWAR.
Yeah.
Kansas, another California, Michigan, New York again, Oregon again, Illinois, another Oregon, another California, Colorado, British Columbia, Nebraska, the OG, another Michigan, Iceland. Yeah, Iceland starts on the 12th. 12th of
Okay.
Idaho, I think. Ontario.
Oh, there's a Quebec one coming up too.
Yeah, I
I
don't
saw
think
the
that one's on
announcement.
here yet. Iowa, South Dakota, Washington. Another 2 Oregons in a row. Northern California, Nevada,
I
Illinois,
think the desert
Wisconsin.
gambler would be pretty interesting.
Ozarks. There's some cool ones out there.
Duluth.
Yeah.
Lots of
I kind of lost count at like 26.
That means half the country's
Fuck ton.
gambling.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
There
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is a gambler near you.
Make it happen. Gotta
Unless-
show up with whatever you got.
Unless you're Pennsylvania. Then
Even
gotta
if you don't
travel.
got a car.
You have to drive
Yeah.
to New York. It's applied.
Well, it's like the guys are coming up from North Carolina.
There is a North Carolina event though, isn't there? I know there's Tennessee. I thought there was North Carolina too. Or maybe they were talking about putting one on. A couple of the guy. Jeez, I'm terrible with names. Yeah, one of our guys moved down there, and I guess there was talk of putting one on.
Be a good area.
Yeah, really. And there's some neat roads like off the Blue Ridge Parkway and stuff. There's some toughies up in there.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be cool to go down and have at least one checkpoint be the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Just to be able to
I'd
get
be-
pictures of shitbox cars in front of NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So upcoming builds. I know Jake's got alternate possible plans. Jeepelope doesn't follow through, possibly does follow through.
No current plans right now for a Jeep Lope 2 because I'm a cheap bastard. And I have 2 vehicles already sitting in my driveway that have nothing but potential. A 2008 E250 work van, just panel side,
Yeah.
4.6 V8, ready for a whooping. I did buy it for $500 from my former employer because it has bad catalytic converters.
Who needs those?
Optional.
You know, they rattle around, do their thing. It runs fine.
Yep.
I also have a Chevy Cobalt 2-door, 5-speed, base model, 150 horsepower Fury. I think would be a good match to the Neon.
Yeah.
He's already did a rallycross run.
Yep, I've rallycrossed it
Oh,
with,
cool.
Yeah.
with Tyler. It is SCCA.
How
event.
did you do?
Well, considering that it was my first time running and I was
It
the
was
only
raining.
one that had bald all-season tires
Yeah.
In the rain.
in the rain, and I did not come in last.
Yeah.
I
That's
consider
good enough
that
for
an
me.
achievement.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Let's say we should have the Neon, a Cobalt, and Ford Focus all run together. Because then you'd have like the 3 base model economy cars. To
How about a
prove which is
Corolla
the
that's
best.
mixed too?
Yeah.
That's about the same size.
Yeah.
It'll run forever too.
Sean, you gotta run your daily. I'm sorry. I got a potential backup for the Cobb, the 9.3, if I can get a title for it. I'm thinking about doing the Vermont thing. It's a bill of sale only title. They're the only state in New York or in U.S. to do it. You can do it technically through the mail, but it's often rejected if you don't get the taxes right. So it's anything 12 years or older, I believe. They'll send you a registration and a title, or a registration and a license plate in the mail. It's good for 1 year. And then any state that you take it to has to take that as a title for their state, and then you just transfer. So, that's the option I'm going for, a potential backup Saab. So,
Bought a
See.
Saab from a rich lady who's got better things to do
Yeah.
than to go find the paperwork and
Mm-hmm.
so now I'm stuck. I got a new fuel pump in it. Got a couple $100 into it. Bought it for 300. So it's got real low miles, but at this point,
it's a California car.
yeah, it's a California car, so it's got some bumps and scrapes for being in San Francisco, but it's real low miles. Real nice clean leather interior, but it'll do real good in the gambler.
It's gonna be a shame to ruin it.
Yeah. But at this point, I'm ready to let her rip. So we may see a revamped Saab, Cobb, Sod. You never know what's gonna be.
The sob story continues.
Sob story.
Yeah.
Gonna show up with a Saab Ute.
Yeah, and I might buy one as a daily too, so that might happen.
Well, you don't have to worry about running out of parts to put it back together.
Exactly, I got a spare radiator as it is, some brake parts and other stuff from the Cobbs.
You see, he drove out to Kevin's in a, $88 weekend rental?
Yeah.
We were so close.
Yeah.
So close.
I
to
got the
running it.
extra insurance on it too, and I was gonna do it, but
The car had like 1,000 miles on
I
it.
know. I was like, you got anything
Hyundai.
older? I was like, I felt bad, but like this thing's pretty new.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Bring it back with a bent frame. I don't know what happened.
yeah, they said I was covered up to $50,000. So
You can do 50,000 to a car. That'll
exactly.
There ain't gonna be much left.
But this is a fucking Hyundai Elantra, you know what I mean? You can buy 2 or 3 of these things for 50,000. So.
It was depends on what you hit. When
Yeah.
you were coming down off the jump. Yeah.
But I made it all the way to the top of Kevin's driveway, so I mean, it did prove its ground for that. So I was gonna take it out, but decided against it.
Well, the drive home that night wasn't really
Yeah, I
easy
know.
feeding that thing.
No, I drove home and it was definitely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I led the way in the Super Duty dually.
Yeah.
And I'm an asshole. I was doing like 60.
Yeah. Couldn't
There
even
was
see
just
him.
a
Yeah.
plume
Yeah,
of
some
smoke
cars, yeah.
behind me, or not smoke, snow.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see the headlights.
Yeah.
Couldn't see the taillights.
Plus, I was towing the empty tow dolly, so it felt like I had a parachute deployed. That was an interesting drive.
Yeah.
The drive home was probably the worst part because the night before I had adjusted my headlights, so I was all set. And then banging around the trails all day, they ended up like this.
Yeah.
So coming back to base camp, I was doing like 20 because all I could see was snow. I had 2 cars come flying up behind me. One was Tyler in the Silver Sleeper, and one was some giant jacked up truck that passed me, and I then later saw pulled over. So
Karma's a bitch.
I was like, Tyler, go around to the front. I need headlights. I can't see. I followed him back, and 30 miles an hour the whole way home, coming up 14 or 14A.
Huh.
It was just like
Yeah.
I saw more horse and buggies out in that than any other cars. I was like, you guys
Was
probably
it
should
Saturday
know this."
night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. They do a big get together early thing. Yeah.
Even with a bad storm like that.
Amish gambler.
Well, they've got 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do our little live looking thing real quick. Recovery item of the week. I don't have any recovery items to think of.
I
But
feel like you were talking about the hookup points. I think that's an excellent idea.
Uh-huh.
Potential to link gamblers together.
Oh, yeah, putting tow bars on your gambler, which, what Matt Wands had on
Yeah.
his red, white, and blue Jeep there.
The
original
ability
white
to
trash.
crawl through
But-
things with a bunch of gamblers hooked
Oh,
together.
wow.
and,
If everybody would come together on the tow bar thing, we all had tow bars, we
Yeah.
could caterpillar through fucking anything.
yeah,
That is a great idea.
yes. I do think that's an
Plus,
awesome
any
Or we can
gambler
all
that
get
goes,
stuck at once.
Well, that too.
That is your other option.
Yeah,
it's either gonna go amazingly or everyone's stuck.
yeah. The
and any
tracker may
gambler
need to
that
get
goes
a bigger
down, you could be an
winch.
easy recovery too. Just
Yeah.
hitch onto them, pull them out.
Yeah,
Trying to pull 8 vehicles out of one spot don't might get a little rough.
yeah.
Well, let's see what the winch on that sidekick does with that
I
one.
mean,
Yeah.
you might need a bigger one. I'm sorry.
So what is it, like the A that flips down with the
Yeah.
hitch point?
Yeah,
And then
solid
you just,
bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just need a good tow hitch.
Yeah.
Don't put you someplace where you're just gonna stretch your Jeep out.
Yeah.
It winds up a foot and a half longer.
Yeah, I need to either be at the front or the back of that thing because I can't be in the middle.
I would say front, because if you're in the middle of it, if if the gamblers in front of you are buried and they try pulling it out from behind, they're gonna pull half the Jeep out.
See, I'd be entirely game for that because it'd probably make good pictures and videos. Except for the weakest point in the Jeep is right underneath the driver's seat, so I don't know.
Install a flotation device on your driver's seat.
Make sure you bring a paddle with you. Just be floating along, go past
Well,
everybody.
I've got this idea of kind of rebuilding the frame rails with 4x4s and plywood
Yeah.
because it'd be so bad it'd be good.
Yeah.
Like a ghetto glue lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Redneck glue
I was
lamb.
thinking kind of a Jeepalope shit sandwich. The fur by fur.
Yeah.
But with the actual shape of the frame rails and the floorboards,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's really going to be a possibility.
You need something to weld to.
That's why everybody's like, why don't you just weld it back together? Tyler said that. I can't weld the rust and carpet.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Weld the carpet together. Just sew it together really well.
Maybe you can shotcrete the whole bottom of it or something, you know?
Even with wood, it'd probably take on about 400 pounds before I'm done.
Yeah.
So the rear frame rail on Old Blue has been rusted to the point where they rejected me from towing anything 20 years ago with it. It hasn't gotten much better, but where the spring comes up and goes to the shackle, which then it's like an outrigger on the frame. It's all unitized, but that's all melted and it's sitting this way, so that whole spring like flexes down, kind of snakes its way down through. So I cut the back off of a '99 Dodge Van, which dimensionally is the same as a '77. Everything bolts right up.
That's that one sitting in your lower yard.
Yes, so when it warms up, I'm going to cut the back of my van off and re-weld another back to it and replace that one bad frame rail spot.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to live on.
I thought you were gonna make some kind of bench or something out of that back van. That's
Right.
pretty sweet.
No, that would be, but yeah, I
Yeah.
thought about like cutting a hole in the side of the van, like up, like where the body comes down, just cut a 4x4 sized hole and cut everything out, slide a 4x4 through. I mean, steel,
Yeah.
and then weld everything to that. I'm like, by the time I do that, I can just cut the whole back of the van off and be done.
Do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing's gonna live forever.
That's my plan. The parts are getting harder and harder to find. I mean, the good thing is that they were pretty much the same van the whole way through, all the way up to like 2004. But like the later model stuff, the metal's not as good.
Yeah. That's one thing about Dodge. They didn't change much through that long era into '90. You know.
Yeah, it was
Six-ish.
71 to 04
Yeah.
was the same van with some subsequent changes up through the years.
Yeah.
But a lot of the parts will bolt over. I'd say like 97, 98 was the biggest changes.
Yeah.
There was federal crash test stuff, so they had to extend the nose and build up the dashboard, that kind of stuff. That's kind of, you can't see out of them. You know, you got this tall dashboard, and it's like, I want something low that I can actually see
See
where I'm
out, yeah.
approaching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm using a Dodge van to go off-roading.
Yeah. As you were talking about the flat nose bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where you
Yeah.
can actually see where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are sweet. The
Flat nose rear engine bus.
Yeah.
The one that got me talking turned
Like the
out to,
Bluebird?
yeah.
Good, great.
The one that got me talking turned out to actually be a front
Front
engine,
engine.
but it's still a flat nose
Yeah.
bus.
We would still gamble that bitch.
It's like the old Volkswagen buses.
Yeah. 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 Up, right up on it. Yeah.
It's gotta be weird driving one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just sitting in front of the tires.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
you
it's
like-
steer.
Yeah. 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 Look at it.
I mean, did it already steer, or did you? It just, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like when you're in the far back of the bus, way behind the axle, and the bus steers left and your seat goes right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clock the road sign. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any gamblers take out road signs so far.
No, I'm talking about the school bus I used to ride on.
No.
Jim. He was crazy, man. I tell you what, he used to get mad at you and purposely rake it down road signs. Mad at the kids in the back. Shut up back there!
We had one that she would goose it up and catch air, so everyone would catch air over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Smack your head on the ceiling of the back of the bus.
Hit it, Miss Wolf. Okay. Here we go. Woo!
It was a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that now, everyone's
Yeah.
getting sued.
Soon,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they didn't have seatbelts back then.
When I rode the bus, they had them, but they didn't care if you had them on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of counterintuitive, because it's like you make one kid in the back of a car wear a belt, but put 50 of them in the bus and nobody wears a belt.
No one.
I think that's still the standing
It
rule.
still is, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Optional only.
So my question is, what about an RV? I mean, if you got an RV, can you ride in the back without seatbelt? And how old do you have to be to
I
get away?
think legally the answer is yes, but technically the answer is no. They do have seatbelts in like the couches on RVs,
Okay.
which is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
A couch with seatbelts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in that case, they had to put a seatbelt on the toilet, too.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
True.
For a long night of drinking, that might come in handy.
Or just put a toilet in the couch with
Yeah.
a seatbelt.
We'll be here.
Yep.
I feel like we ought to design RVs now.
RV gamblers.
There's been a couple floating around that are dirt cheap. I know
Yeah.
there's one that's Old International, but they can't find the paperwork for it. So,
Yeah,
to do
Vermont
the
thing.
Vermont thing.
Yeah.
There's that-
We can carpool.
Camo Dodge van one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I think I ended up sharing that one, too.
Yeah, that one's cool.
There's a fair amount of full-size school buses around for about $3,000.
Yeah.
There was some gambler video. They had an RV, and they hit some pump. I think just
Yeah.
disintegrates.
I remember that. Cruising down the trail, they hit the low spot, and everything just comes off.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be the story of any RV up here. They're that cheap.
What was
Yeah.
it? Dirt Every Day, where they took a full long chassis RV and stripped everything off except just the engine and the driving chassis. This is a big block vehicle with, pretty low gearing with now no weight on it, so they're drag racing it.
I kind of want to do an over-the-top build. Just some random vehicle.
Yeah.
Could just make it awesome.
I'm still waiting for a military 6x6 to show up.
Yeah.
The truck, whatever they call it.
Deuce and a half.
Deuce and a half or the 5 whichever. I don't care. Somebody out there that has one needs to bring it
Yeah,
because that would be cool.
The Dune Buggy peeps need to bring their cars too. This spring. There's a couple of them.
I did start building a 6-wheel Dodge Dakota, but seeing how my neighbor's an asshole and started making legal threats,
Yeah.
that one met a early grave. That made me sad.
And then a week later, I called them, asked about putting. I had a 2001 Dodge Stratus RT, the 2-door. Talked about putting it on a 4x4 frame, and he had just gotten rid of it. I was like, oh damn it! I was looking up dimension, wheelbase ratios and stuff. I was like, it's almost perfect. I call him up. I was like, you still got that? He's just like, fuck you. I was like, what?
Just scrap.
Yeah. He's like, you're an asshole. I was like, I'm sorry, man. He's like, I'm just a little bitter. I just got rid of it. All you assholes, I've asked you for all these months to do builds with it and nothing, and now I get rid of it. Now you want it. Yeah. Typical. Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Never need it until you throw it out, like that Toyota frame I have out back. That'd be perfect for something. But I just haven't found it yet. I'm
Yeah.
tempted to scrap it, but I know if I do, I'm gonna come across the exact vehicle I want to put on it.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a Scion XB, put it on the 4-wheel drive frame,
Nice.
have
Yeah.
a big old lifted toaster.
Yeah. Lifted toaster. Yeah.
I love those XBs. I don't know why. They came with a 1.5. They can barely get out of their own way. It's just, it's a cube, but it's not a goofy looking cube.
Yeah. No, they're not bad.
Do a Ren and Stimpy, the Toast Man theme.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of one that had a little trailer on it. The trailer had a plate with a stick of butter, and then they had two like big wood cutouts of toast on top of it. And I was like, it fits perfectly.
They were going all in, you know. That you can go two ways, whether you know show up with show up with what you got, or you can go all in and deck it out with the butter and toast. That's how I went with the coupe, all in.
I gotta say though, I think the roof mount radiator is really a good game plan with a
No,
mud
it went
body.
well.
Yeah.
You know,
Well.
I mean, everybody else is overheating, including my Jeep even. Radiator packed with mud overheating. He's
I never even
Doing
ran
fine.
the fan. I did bounce off a couple trees and blew a couple hoses that way, and then I stalled out going up the hill in the Fall Gambler. And as soon as I stalled out, we just heard it. And Jake just was like, he heard the, and you just see him at the GoPro, and he's just like running away, and it's just like, goes blowing out of there. So. And then the Jeep recovery dudes are just like, I have a hose, and he shows up. It's like the exact same hose. I was like, what?
Wow.
He's like, I've been meaning to do it. I got a leaky hose, but here you go. He's like, sweet. Yeah.
what was it, like his lower radiator hose or something?
Yeah.
Worked for you.
Yeah, and then like a couple miles later, maybe a couple checkpoints later, I bounced off another tree and busted one of the other hoses, but luckily I had another elbow. I showed up with a box of elbows and a box of hose clamps and about 15 extra gallons of water / radiator fluid, so we were good to go. Yeah.
So I went over prepared for the spring. I brought like 4 or 5 gallons of oil, 4 or 5 gallons of antifreeze. Always had 15 gallons on the flatbed. Gas. I didn't have to use any of it. I think I used 2 or 3 ounces of oil, and I was like, a little over prepared for this one.
Yeah.
I did that the first time. I had packed everything in the back of the Jeep, ready for anything. Seemed like a great idea until I hit the first like negative G,
Yeah.
and all the shit in the back just like.
And then it hits, yes,
Yeah.
after you land, and then it's like the double effect.
I was in the back seat. I can contest. I was just holding stuff in there. I was like, "Oh, please don't kill me." Yeah. We'll resettle that later.
I forgot how much stuff was in Old Blue, and I did hot laps on the first Gambler.
Yeah, that was another thing. Was the hot
Because I had run the
laps.
car
yeah.
first, and then, oh man, I didn't know that stuff was going to land like that. There was stuff flipped everywhere.
You know, I think it was a little jump you got in like your middle yard there that probably did the worst.
To you?
Yeah, because everybody's trying to hit. They're just hitting it as hard as they could at the bottom of that hill, come around that hill sideways, up through the woods, and over that little whoop-de-doo.
You can catch a hair on that thing.
Oh yeah, I have. And I think I might have caught an oil can to the back of the head for it.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't bust Old Purple, that big purple truck. They tried and tried.
That'd be a proper ending place to the Jeep Elope. Kevin's jump.
Smokey and the Bandit finale.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to send a vehicle off a cliff, just like either just throw a brick in the gas pedal and put it in drive and send it, or RC car it. I don't care. But
Yeah.
It's like the videos of that place up in Alaska where when they
Yeah.
get done with their cars, they launch them off the cliff. That would be a proper send-off for a lot of gamblers.
yes, it would. That would be a great base camp and end of the weekend event. The final send.
I've heard rumors of a rock crusher. Someone sending them off the cliff at the rock crusher, and the DEC tracked them down. Told them they had to get it out of there.
Well,
Yeah. That'd be a perfect spot. As long as the DEC doesn't track you.
Yeah, just shake the bend. so
Sorry,
it'll be
dickhead.
I think we gotta go for kind of like this idea to do like a tubing, kayaking, canoeing. I don't know. We could go float for part of one day, and like have the gamblers, and because you got enough people, you can easily do pick up and get back to your vehicle.
Yeah.
And that'd be kind of cool. Bring like the crappiest floating paddleable thing that you could possibly bring.
Yeah.
Send it down the river.
Kitchen table with a boat motor on it.
Yeah.
You can have motor seats. if you don't have a motor on it, then it's a whole different category, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. You start sticking a motor on it, then you gotta go get boat permits and all that happy stuff.
The small electric trolling motor is in the gray area.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can make like 5 of those.
Yeah. They didn't talk about a multiplier. Yeah.
I live on Cross Lake, which is on the canal system, so I can go really anywhere from my house in the water. And I had really considered a marine gambler of sorts.
Yeah.
Everybody's got some old shitty boat sitting somewheres in the back of the property or something.
Yeah.
You know, why not hit up some points around some of these Finger Lakes? Might be a cool idea.
Yeah.
I've got an old truck box. I could put some blue 55-gallon drums under it.
Yeah, I'm
Have
sure
a
somebody
level.
will show
Right
up with
on.
like the floating picnic table and some other funny things, but I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
would be.
Now that I opened my mouth on camera, I think maybe I might have to get on that.
Go right for the middle of the summer when it's nice and warm.
You know,
Yeah, that's what
we do need a fourth New York gambler. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New one every season.
Aqua Gambler.
Yeah.
You could just take actual old footage of a gambler and put an aquarium in front of it.
It'd be like them old school monster trucks where they used to stick the giant tires on them and float them across the rivers. You know, they used to run across to like the lakes. Remember we used to watch them at Grandpa's house? They'd stick the like larger fucking tires on the monster trucks and they just send them right across. They just float across.
Really?
They go slow as hell, but
Wow.
some of them would sink eventually. But most of them would make it. It was slow, but
I feel like that'd be fun to watch.
yeah,
Friend
it's
of mine
been really
just
expensive.
friend of mine just got rid of one of those 8-wheel Argo all-terrain amphibious vehicles.
Yeah.
He had the track pack and the
All
snowplow
the
and
toys.
all the goodies for the thing. And I almost bought it myself until I got there and looked at the drivetrain of the thing, and it really amounts to just like a Briggs & Stratton engine and chain drive inside the tub. It's cheesy as hell. And it had bad sprockets and bad chains. And
Ah,
it was damn near brand new and it had all these problems. I'm just like, nah.
how do you steer?
It's skid steer basically.
Okay. Like brakes on the side, or
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, so
Open
it's
diff.
like a open differential
Okay.
drive with 2 individual brakes.
right.
So you stop the side you want to steer towards.
Okay. All right.
But they are bathtub enough that they're amphibious, and it's got a little jet drive back end thing on it.
Okay. So it's not just relying on the tires to turn it through water.
Or the track.
Yeah.
There's also a flat spot on it for an outboard. So I don't know. Imagine that'd get interesting. So that reminds me about the mini gambler that keeps getting talked about.
Well, like mini bikes or
Mini
Power
bikes
Wheels?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Whatever.
Scott Benzies on that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a little ace up his sleeve. I was at his house the other day. He showed it to me. I'm not going to call him out on it, but he's got
Yeah.
something cool.
Cool. We can't wait to see.
You know,
Now we
I
just
don't know.
gotta get our little wheels out.
all I have is a 160cc moped,
Yeah.
which really shouldn't be treated like that. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to act like I didn't get drunk at the Adirondack Gambler and take it out on the trails because I did.
So
I've got a
Facebook
BMX bike
Marketplace,
frame with a
watch out.
6.5 horsepower motor. Maybe.
I'm gonna say, if I can find if my buddy can find the rest of the wiring harness, I've got it was one of those little like 90cc knockoff Chinese 4-wheelers. He cut the front end off and put a chopper bike on the front.
This is cool.
There's no clutch on it, so I gotta figure out how to do that. And then I might bring that up to the Adirondacks with me.
Nice.
That's gonna be a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Or, when I was picking up scrap the other day, the guy was like, just pointing out all the stuff he wanted me to take. He's like, that motorcycle over there too. 1100cc 96 Honda. I was like, I don't plan on getting my motorcycle license, and that doesn't count as a mini bike.
Right.
So, I can figure out a good use for that motor.
Yeah.
I have a 1983 Honda Goldwing 1100. That's you can't sell them when they're in good condition. Nobody wants the damn
The
thing.
shaft driven.
Yes,
You can find an old Yamaha golf cart.
I actually have an old Yamaha golf cart since you mentioned it.
Yep. Shaft drive, shaft driven.
Yeah.
Make that go right along.
Yeah.
My coworker's been trying to sell me a shaft-driven Yamaha go-kart or golf cart for years, and now that I think about it, I might have to build one.
Yeah.
Trailer that up, cruise around base camp with that
Yeah.
until I roll it.
Well,
Yeah.
only reason I've kept ownership of it is A, it's you're just gonna have to scrap it basically to get rid of it, but B, I think it'd be a great project platform, but maybe I could run it in its current busted, been laid down one too many times condition in a gambler motorcycle run. That'd be incredibly wrong.
This is all closed course, so you should technically run right, whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah.
What's that thing got to weigh? 700-800 pounds? No big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know, now my gears are turning. What can I build to hurry?
That's the
Yeah.
thing about doing something on small scale is it can be more of a shed build. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a garage, so
I got
this stuff gets hard. You know, laying on your back in the driveway and then snowbank in January working on your gambler.
Yep. Especially when it's your daily.
Yeah. I'm luckily not in that position anymore, but I used a Jeepalope for a winter rat for a while, but just not up to it anymore.
Now it only comes out for special occasions.
You know,
Yeah.
she rides a trailer there too, like a queen.
I'm gonna trailer my truck this year because I want to just send it and not have to worry about trying to drive it home.
Yeah.
Put two bicycles side by side with the engine and then like a car seat in the middle, so you're like down in it.
I gotta imagine you got at least a few spare chainsaws kicking around. You
Yeah,
can
but
do
now
something.
I want like a 6.5 horsepower engine. I mean, a chainsaw engine's kind of weak for that.
Yeah, I tried a chainsaw engine one time on a little chopper, but I'm kind of chunky, so it didn't really move me.
Yeah, they don't have that much torque, but they've got a lot of RPM.
Yeah.
You have to really wind that thing. Getting gearing lined up with something that's running at 8,000 RPM is a bit difficult. I mean, you need like an 80cc cell to really push you along.
You got 50 cc.
How do you get the steering? How can you take two bicycles and then make them steer?
You get
It's gotta be like,
well, the bar between the headsets on the bicycles, a little.
okay, yeah,
Horse
like on the
reins.
forks no, they're gonna be on the forks themselves.
Horse reins.
I built a go-kart with horse reins. I've got scars all up down this arm because I let a girl drive it.
That was on her.
Did you have the horse reins on the girl or on the go-kart? I'm confused.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like, okay, I bungee corded myself to it because, you know, that was my seatbelt and I let her drive and I'm like, you know, to steer this way you pull the rope and to steer this way you pull the rope. And she pulled the rope and I guess she pulled it way too hard and like, the thing was as wide as this table. I couldn't cut 2x4s, so I just used 2x4s. And like anyway, we go flying down the hill and she turns the wheel for no reason, hits the curb, she steps off of it, and I just, boom, I'm up, bungee corded to this gigantic go-kart, going down the hill on my face, yeah. And Summer, if you're watching, I don't know. I'm sorry you never talked to me again. I didn't hate you for it.
You bailed on him.
Yeah. I should not have bungee corded myself to that thing.
Yeah.
At least you tried to be safe.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
safety is a concern.
Oh, the reins are a pretty solid idea. If I try to do anything with multiple steering columns, I'm probably gonna try that.
Yeah.
Okay, so reins it is, yeah. I mean, it worked once.
Yeah.
Just don't bungee cord yourself to it.
It's very gambler-esque.
All these new cars like Cobalts and stuff that have electric power steering have a non-power rack and pinion in them that can be used for shenanigans without much fabric cobbling.
Cobalt,
Okay, I'm seeing it.
cobalt rack on a bicycle.
Yeah, I totally see it. You just shorten down the tie rod ends,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
Right, and then just weld them back off, and then seal off the fork, and then you've got the actual steering wheel even.
Sucks you live so far away. Think of the things we could build.
Yeah. I've got that Parks Neon too.
There you go. The gears are turning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Half neon, half Yamaha golf cart.
So the only sketchy thing about the one I'm looking at, it's a 3-wheeler, so it's just got one little wheel.
Oh,
up
it's a
front.
Harley, isn't it?
It might be.
Does it have the tiller steering?
I believe so.
Fucking A, I grew up on one of those things.
Yeah, my Harley.
I bet you I rolled that thing 100 times. Strap the battery in, that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because you're melted on the exhaust otherwise.
Yeah. Those things would go through anything, though.
Yep, including creeks and
It'd
jumps.
slow right down. You'd be like, "Oh, it's stalling out," and then it'd be like, "Brrr, "Here we go, coming up out of it." Creeks, whatever.
Oh, and my other advice is take like a boat bilge blower fan and mount it right over the head, because the fan that they have in them is not meant for constant duty. You'll burn that head up in a weekend. Been there, rebuilt it, 3 times before we learned?
Yeah.
Remember that. We're all gonna show up with more time into our mini gamblers than our actual gamblers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do hot laps at the racetrack in those.
Yeah.
I tried to show up at the first Adirondack Gambler with my 4-wheeler on the roof of my Jeep Elope, but the roof started to cave in, so I had it up there though. I had to use some truck ramps to put it up in the back of my truck, and I brought the Jeep over and I used the truck ramps up there on the Jeep.
How were you gonna get it off when you got there?
I was putting a lot of confidence in that sand hill that I knew was
Okay,
there.
alright.
I was just gonna kinda, plus I'd have gravity on my side. I don't fucking know.
Or you could have asked anybody there.
We'll figure it out when we got there. Yeah.
There's a bunch of dudes, we could get something going.
Right,
Yeah.
tree
It's
with
here,
a
yeah.
limb and a cable come along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crank it up and then let it down afterwards.
So I think gamblers are better engineers than car designers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an underwritten challenge for everybody this time, is what miniature motorized shenanigan vehicles can you come up with?
I still like the shopping cart idea too.
Yeah.
That would be totally cool.
No.
I say go to
That would be
Aldi's and
good.
get them 25 cents
I
a
know,
piece.
but it's just
Bought and paid for.
Exactly.
I literally paid for this.
Yeah.
Just don't get the Walmart ones. The alignment's off.
Yeah.
It always is.
Yeah.
I've had
Go for
one
that.
Walmart cart where it was halfway decent, all the others are just
Yeah.
all over the place.
I usually
Sleek look for the Target ones.
I'll bring them right down to the hardware department and spray them up with lube.
I know, I was thinking that. I was like,
Yeah.
is that okay? Can you
Yeah.
borrow
I mean,
WD-40 off the shelf?
I'm doing
and
them
fix
a
their
service.
Stuff?
I should send them a bill. So.
Then I was thinking maybe you could start a business. Like you could realign shopping carts.
Yeah.
Get them change tires if they need it. You could just why don't they do that?
No.
Is there
National-
somebody doing this?
Yeah.
Really?
National assemblers.
Every good idea.
It's the same people that build the bikes and the grills and the patio sets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I regrettably admit that I worked for them.
You did it right on.
Building shitty products for shitty people.
You know,
That's their motto.
you get paid per piece.
Yeah.
Quality's not important, production is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you ever get a Walmart
If the
grill
bolt's
and
on,
it falls
then that's
apart
good.
before you get it home, that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Because of you.
No, I haven't worked there
Not
in years,
you,
but
Yeah.
but yeah, I have put together a few thousand grills and
You're only paid per piece, not per tightness of the bolt or.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
what was it, $3 a bike and like 10 or
Yeah.
$15 a grill or something like that.
Yeah.
The money was in the grills.
The grills, which is.
They also did power chair servicing. All the fat people power chairs.
Yeah. Did you go to the Walmart to do this?
Yes.
Okay, alright. And then
Yes.
you go like
We were traveling assembler gypsies.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
a very interesting point in our lives.
Yeah.
Had our own tools, our own table and everything.
It
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad because you could make up your own hours, work
Yeah,
as
$3
long
$3
or
a
as little as you
man,
want.
I mean, what?
Some of the more
20
higher end
minutes?
bicycles were like $15 or $20. Those
Wow.
like the 10 speeds that nobody ever buys anymore. Mostly it's kids' bikes, $3 a piece. I could slam out a Barbie bike in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But $3 for 5 minutes. Just keep at it.
You gotta put tires on too, or are they already mounted?
Pink
Already
tassels and
Oh,
all.
jeez.
So now you pull it out of the box, you put the tires and the handlebars and stuff on, you adjust the brakes, adjust the shifters, make sure all the bolts are tight.
Yeah.
Make sure the wheels run true, adjust the spokes a little bit if you have to. Pretty much never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send it. Didn't matter if it came back anyhow, because you were already on to the next Walmart by then.
Yeah,
Somebody
right.
else's problem.
And they've already returned it 3 times already, so it doesn't matter.
I already got paid.
Yeah. It's already sitting out front for clearance.
Speaking of power chairs, I do have a working power chair that
Yeah.
I haven't decided what I want to do with yet, but
Yeah. So open to suggestions. Anyone have any good ideas? We have a power chair available.
If you double the voltage on it, what would happen? Would it
Go
go
fast.
faster?
No.
probably smoke the electrical control for
Ah.
the motor because, electronically controlled speed. But if you wired it directly to the drive motors, I'm sure they'd go like hell.
There you go. Take the governors out.
Okay.
It's like putting car batteries into the Barbie cars.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Time's alive.
What are they, 6 volts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I remember we daisy chained 3 batteries and a jump pack into a Barbie car. And it went fast for a little bit, and then it just
Didn't
Did
go
you
at
get
all.
the motors were just fried.
Something else that works good is RC car brushless motors and LiPo batteries in a Barbie car, and pretty nasty. And you can get brass drivetrain that goes in their little gearbox too, so you can actually get some reliability out of them. Some people have way too much time.
So I just as soon pull the motors out and downhill run 'em.
Those things are RC now. Like you can throw your kid in them and just drive the little bastard around the yard, not worry about him taking off or running into the car.
Yeah. Kind of. I mean, do they stick it to drive too, or is it? Do you have
Yes,
an
it's like
override?
it's like a growing up in stages. Like first daddy controls
Okay,
it, and then
alright.
like you can control it, but if I override, I have control. And
If you got like 3 kids. Hey kids, you wanna play bumper cars?
Yeah. Invite your friends over.
Yeah, each right.
Start placing bets on what car's
Yeah.
gonna last.
We're just gonna switch up controllers here. No one knows what they're getting. Yeah. Go.
It's not a bad idea.
I like
Yeah.
this so much.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah.
necessarily just for kids. That'd be kind of funny for adults too.
Yeah.
Get drunk, pick a number out of a hat. Okay, we're getting that car.
Yup.
Yeah.
Who's my driver? I have no clue.
Yeah.
You'll figure it
Yeah.
out when we turn the power on.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
driver doesn't know either until then.
Here's your helmet. Get in the car.
Our beach driver with his Q-tip like Justin.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking turkey.
We're gonna come up with more side events for the gambler than the gambler itself.
I know,
Bloody
this is gonna end
Detroit.
up having to be a week-long thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Gambler games.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So what the point would be to keep it on all 4 wheels. I would imagine. Like if you dump it, then you're done. You
Yeah.
like bumper cars jousting. I can see this working.
Yeah.
Actually build a little racetrack and
Yeah.
5 laps, last man standing wins.
You can do Mario Kart style with the 3 balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. Not very often I feel young. Usually I'm feeling old. But
Yeah.
Mario Kart, you have 3 balloons, and you're supposed to take out your opponent a balloon at a time. When the balloons
Okay.
are gone, they lose.
All right. See, I've never.
Never been into video games.
I never played Mario Kart.
That was one of the last games I got into. I grew up after that.
Okay.
I can't. I pick up a controller now. I play for 10 minutes. I'm just like, here.
Yeah.
Pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like there are a few titles where it's like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I play it for 20 minutes, and it's like, I'm gonna go outside and do something else. But when I was younger and didn't have the money for video games, I could play them all day.
Yeah.
Remember with the Sega back in the day, there was some boxing game we had, and my finger was so raw that I actually took like paper towels and wrapped around my thumb, and then wrapped duct tape around that so I could keep on playing. It was like the thumb was so raw from that damn Sega controller, but I was not stopping playing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Need for Speed Underground or Gran Turismo. They were my two.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
those are definitely some classic games.
Yeah.
I played a lot of those.
Gran Turismo was a good game.
It was.
I felt like it actually helped me
Yeah.
become a better driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, except for you don't die when you hit the
I
wall.
could
But
never do
you know,
those like 16 and 24-hour ones, but I did some of them like really the 4-hour ones. You're like, oh my god, did I really sign up for a 4-hour fucking race
Yeah.
right now?
I did the 24-hour one. I got the 22 hours.
Yeah.
I said, okay, put the game here. I gotta go to bed. You're like,
Yeah.
shut everything off, you know, except for just let the game run. Come back the next morning, the power went off last night. The clocks were off. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So
Oh, my
I
life
did it the
back.
second time, and the power went off at like 18 hours on that one. I'm like, that's it. Never doing it again.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
It's
I
a sign
won.
that I'm not supposed to hit
Yep.
24 hours.
I don't
Yeah.
need that little trophy.
Yeah.
Remember Gran Turismo 2? You could get like the little Daihatsu key cars.
Oh yeah.
They couldn't get out of their own way. It was
Yes.
great.
They were horrendous.
I kind of want one of those. I feel like that'd be a fun car to drive.
Yeah.
Or
If I
didn't
could-
it have like a 3-wheel Renault or something like that? It was some boxy golf cart.
Reliant Robin. They
I
had
don't
that
think they had-
three-wheeler.
Did they?
So
Yeah.
that's
Anyway,
one,
it was
it's one of
some
the newer
horrendous
Forzas
car.
too. It's crazy. I put a 13B in it and I just floored it and it just went over on its side. I was like, okay, done with this one.
Since you brought up Renault, I read a thing that they're returning to the American market.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's gonna be pretty cool.
See if it goes over like Fiat did. They're
They're
already
buying
going
in.
again.
Are they?
Yeah,
Good.
they pulled back out already.
Fix
Really?
it again, Tony.
Well, they own Chrysler and they're doing alright here with those, so why bother?
I thought those new Fiats looked pretty nice. The SUV didn't look too bad, and the Gallardo whatever one didn't look too shabby either. I didn't see too many of them though. Didn't look as nice as the Teslas.
We had an 80 Fiat wagon.
Yeah.
And it was like the best powertrain. Like V6 in it. The thing would giddy up and go. Everything held together. But every other thing on the car just fell apart. It was just complete garbage. Like, you know, go to roll up the window and the handle comes off, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, just junk like that. The window rattle around and fall
Yeah.
down, and just everything on the car was built so poorly, except for the engine. Like, they knew what they were doing there.
Yeah.
That was the last year, like 80, somewhere around there. I mean, up until,
They pulled out
Yeah.
until now, yeah. Interesting.
Israel's got some different cars we don't see over here. But then they're missing things that we do have here. We went across a Cavalier. It was a Cavalier body, right? And it had the Oldsmobile, oh, not the Aurora, but the other one. It was the
Alero.
same chassis as the Alero, yeah. And so it had the Oldsmobile front end on it, Oldsmobile taillights, but it's a Chevy Alero over there. Wait, is this like leftover parts?
It's kind of cool.
I'll bring up the Dodge Intrepid again. I had two of them, and one of them was a Chrysler Intrepid. Turns out in the Canadian market, they sold them under the Chrysler name. And I actually got pulled over for speeding with the thing once, and I got in an argument with the cop because he's telling me my registration is wrong. It says Chrysler, this is a Dodge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I reached in the glove box and I handed him the owner's manual. He, he's a cop, so he's all over his gun and backing off. I'm reaching for something. I hand him the owner's manual and I point at the Chrysler logo on the steering wheel and I said, "I'm not wrong. This is a Chrysler."
Yeah.
No, I never knew of such a thing.
It's them damn Canadians. I can't help it. Yeah. Blame the North.
I bought that car with $300 in change from a crackhead who used it on crack, and I blew up the engine on Onondaga Hill, right in front of that gas station at the top of the hill. Started out with a knock on the bottom, which I had been knocking for like a week, and that hill claimed it.
believe that wraps up the hour. Anybody got the time?
We've got
8:19.
Yeah, just over an hour. All right. Definitely a good show.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of talking.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Hopefully the file doesn't corrupt this time. It shouldn't. So, be back. I'll be back here Sunday filming last week's episode again.
Episode 3.2.
Yeah, episode 3.2. We'll go with that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.